Hi everyone, Emily Hay here, and in today's video I'm going over some important points for getting a company address and phone number for your real estate investing business. Now, just to recap, when you're starting a new real estate investing business, there's 4 main steps you must complete in order to create your business's foundation. And if you're already an established investor, you may also need to complete 1 or more of these steps if you're expanding your business or perhaps you just haven't gotten around to doing these things. As you see here, the 4 main steps you'll need to complete to create your business include picking a company name, getting a domain, and setting up that professional company email. 3, you'll need to get a company phone number and address. And the final step, 4, you'll need to get a logo. So I've released steps 1 and 2 in separate videos in my blog posts over the past 2 weeks. And in today's video of step 3, I will share some important points when getting your company address and phone number. Now, a couple of things you want to consider when you're setting up a company mailing address for your real estate investing business. 1, if you work out of your home, you do not want to use your home address for your business address. And 2, you do not want to send out marketing collateral, letters, have business cards printed, or really do any of the above without a physical mailing address listed. Now, if your business is brand new, or perhaps you're the only employee, or maybe you've been working out of your home over the years, a P.O. box is certainly what I recommend you get for your business. In my previous post, I showed you how and why you should set up a professional company domain and email address, and really the same rule applies here with a physical mailing address. Without a P.O. box or a mailing address, it simply doesn't give a feeling that your company is firmly established or even polished enough to know what you're doing. And remember, perception certainly equals reality. People want to do business with people that they perceive to be professional and feel secure with. And without that physical mailing address, it's hard for a prospective customer to relate to. Now, I've received collateral before in the mail that contained just a company name and an email address, which I know that can seem sufficient since email is a primary contact method. However, in my opinion, it didn't look legit without a physical address to trace back to. And since a person has to provide their identification in order to get a P.O. box, and a company mailing address is required in order to set up a bank account and file your taxes, it certainly provides that feeling of authenticity and credibility. Also, a really great thing about a P.O. box is it's very inexpensive, and I suggest you spend the least amount of money that you have to and go with the smallest P.O. box size option available. If a package comes for you and it's too large for your P.O. box, then the post office staff will hold it in the back for you and they'll put a little note in your P.O. box to let you know, so you don't have to worry that you'll miss things. Also, you can pay for your P.O. box on a yearly basis. It should come with a couple of keys, and I also opt to set my P.O. box up in the post office in the city where I live just for convenience. Now, another great thing about having a P.O. box is that you can associate several businesses with it. So in case you want to expand your offerings, or maybe someone else in your family runs their own business, they can use the P.O. box number as well. I do know that some people think a P.O. box does not provide that same feeling of authenticity as a street address does. And it's true, you cannot have FedEx or UPS shipments sent to a P.O. box. However, if you do not currently rent office space or your home address is your only option for a physical mailing address, then a P.O. box is the best option. I do not advise that you use your personal home address in any situation to conduct business. Now, as for getting a company phone number, since your business as a real estate investor benefits from having an easy to remember phone number, there are a few points to consider when you're picking a phone number to use. The first one I have listed, of course, a 1-800 number or a local number. And secondly, do you want to spell something with your phone number or have that vanity phone number? Now, personally, I feel like a local number is the best option. If you're doing your real estate investing in the neighboring cities in which you live, I think a prospective buyer or seller is much more likely to contact a phone number with a familiar area code. Now, you may need a 1-800 number if you're opting to use remote answering services, or perhaps you do your investing in numerous states. But sometimes the decision to use a 1-800 number is best based on that geography and the number of office locations that you run. But the other thing with a 1-800 number, the downside, is that they can be more expensive to set up since they reach a greater territory. So in summary, I suggest that if you're a starting out investor, you go with a local number. As you can see, the third bullet point, I do recommend you go with a landline number over a cell phone account for your business, mainly because if you plan to grow your business over time, you'll eventually need to add another line, and it's much easier to add on to an existing landline number than it is to add on to a cell phone account. And besides, it's obviously more difficult for a person other than you to answer your cell phone number. Now, if you're preparing to add another phone line, clearly your marketing is working, your business is growing, and more importantly, people already know your phone number, and you won't want to have to go back and update all of your collateral, contact information, website, etc. from a cell phone number that maybe you used for just a short time. And in case you've only used a cell phone number for a long time and you aren't familiar with the standard landline services these days, you can get voicemail, caller ID, call forwarding, call waiting just for a couple of bucks a month. And I personally feel that the call forwarding option is worth the money alone. When I know I'll be away from my home office, I forward all of my business calls from the landline to my cell phone temporarily. And just like with your cell phone, you can always dial in and retrieve your voicemail messages. The second consideration, should I spell something clever with my phone number, or should I get that vanity number as it's referred to? Since the majority of people make calls today from their cell phone, and even more so from Blackberries or smart devices, it's becoming less and less common to be able to spell on a dial pad, especially if the person is dialing on the go while driving. Now, if your phone number already spells something easy to remember, such as 313-225 home, for example, then I would just be sure to include the digits that spell home. So on your collateral, it reads 313-225 home, and then in parentheses 4663, which spells home. And also, this is similar to purchasing a domain for your business, because a vanity number can be taken and it can cost you thousands of dollars if you'd like to acquire it. Now, I know that a lot of the larger established real estate investors will strongly advise you that the cost of a vanity number is well worth it, since you can get one deal done and that can cost justify the price. However, I want you to spend money where it can quickly yield results, and as an investor with a new business, spending this kind of money on a phone number simply may not be realistic. So the best thing that you can do is to have a phone number with repeating digits. This is the ultimate easy way to get remembered. And your options are limited to get repeating digits with a cell phone number, but by calling the phone company and to set up that landline account, you can speak with their business department. You'll have many, many more options for numbers with repeating digits. And even if you can't get something super easy like 313-333-3333, for example, going with something like 313-514-4444 is a fantastic option. So in summary, the least amount of different numbers, the better. Now, both a 1-800 number and a vanity number consideration are important when you start to consider your marketing, such as bandit signs, or maybe you have a car magnet made. And if you use bandit signs as a way to generate leads, you may attract a person more quickly if they see a local area code. Also, a person may feel like calling a 1-800 number is more unpredictable as to whom they'll reach on the other end. So by having repeating digits, the chances are much higher for a person driving by at 30 miles an hour, or if they're sitting at a stoplight, they'll remember your number even if they don't have a pen and paper. So now you should have everything you need to know when you're setting up your company address and phone number. Overall, it's a much better plan to have a mailing address and a dedicated business phone number to give your business that credibility. So please feel free to leave me a comment or question below if there's anything else I can go over. And stay tuned, because the next post I will go through the last step of how to get a great company logo. This is a really important and fun part of setting up your business, and I look forward to sharing it with you very soon. Thanks so much.